If there's one console I regret not spending more time with, it's the one that we're going to be talking about today. Not only is this the best-selling console of all time, it also happens to be Scarole's favorite retro console. And I'm of course talking about the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I actually used to have a much larger collection than this, and we actually are trying to rebuild this collection, add all those games that I have such great memories of, and the ones that bring nostalgia. I'm still trying to convince Rumble that there are games worthy of playing still back on the PS2 today.
And before we jump into our shelves, I do have a fun fact that I want to share that I just found out, because I was curious about the PS2 as a console and releasing games for it, since it's been the best-selling console of all time. Did you know that they stopped making consoles for PS2 in 2013? So the same year that the PS4 came out. So they kept making games or releasing games, I should say, and making consoles for it. So I can only imagine a conversation at Sony at the time where there was one guy that kept holding on to the PS2 as his favorite console, and that lasted it almost outlasted 2 generations. That's pretty incredible, isn't it?
I don't think I've ever heard of any other console. There's usually that bleed over with at least the next console, but not usually the next console. So that is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe up until like 2007 or something, but I don't know what games they released that far into it, but that's kind of impressive in itself, in my opinion. And as Scarole always likes to say,
we sort our games alphabetically, so let's jump in.
We don't have any games on A, but we can start with
the Bible game, classic. When we saw this in a weird retro store that's like a bank, a remodeled bank.
I've never seen a game store that was a previous bank. That was pretty epic, but that's where we got it, yeah.
They actually had a safe inside their store, like a giant door safe. It was like Fallout, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. They kept all of the special games in their vault.
Exactly.
Let's hope there was no robbery in that bank/game store.
This Bible game is in pristine condition, and I don't know, we felt like we had to add this family favorite to our collection.
I guess it is a family favorite now, yeah.
Oh, this one still has the price on it. Okay, that's unusual.
This game was $9.99, and bombastic. It's not any relation to Shaggy, the rapper, or whatever he was back in the day.
They may have been fans, but this is actually the sequel to a PS1 game called Devil Dice, and I loved Devil Dice back on the PS1. So when I saw this, again, pristine copy of Bombastic, wanted to add it to our collection, but I'm actually still looking for Devil Dice on the PS1. This is a recent addition to our collection. Been looking for this one for a while, but we just never could find it complete or, good condition, didn't look like a dog chewed on it or something like that, and that is The Bouncer. This is actually, it wasn't like a launch title game, but it did come out in year 2000, so it was one of the first year of PS2, and it was supposed to kind of show off the prowess of the graphics and everything of the PS2, but it actually didn't do that well, and it's kind of funny when I see this game, I just think it looks like a Final Fantasy X type character on it, and it's kind of like an action adventure beat 'em up game. So I actually haven't played this one, so I'm really glad we were able to add this to our collection, because it's one of those games I've wanted to actually play and test it out.
And going back on what you were saying about never finding this one in good shape, this one was always missing the manual. We even saw this, I think, at GameStop at some point, and we asked them, do you have manuals in the back or something like that in your drawers? Your secret drawers that you hide all your fancy retro games.
They do.
But they didn't have it. But we finally found it for a decent price, I would say. We had some trade-in credit at one of our local game stores. So we're like, we got to get this one. And we finally did.
Mm-hmm. Happy to have it in our collection and to try it out soon. Here we have Champions Return to Arms, and we're missing the first one, Champions of Norath. So we're still looking for that one, and we need to remove that GameStop sticker, but I guess I know.
This is an old one, so this might not be easy.
You're gonna need some Goo Gone for this sticker, but this is another one of those kind of hack and slash, dungeon exploring games by Snowblind Studios. So this is a great game. And I mean, I think that this one may have come out after the Baldur's Gate hack and slash game. So they were kind of cashing in on that whole trend that was going on at the time. I was more into Baldur's Gate, but these are really solid games too. Another addition since our last video is Concept. And this is another one of those games where it just really in pristine condition again, and has the manual, it's complete and everything. And I've never really, I don't know, I've not really seen this game in the game stores. I think it would have stood out to me because it's a unique art style. But actually, one of the reasons we wanted this game is because we have the sequel to this on the Xbox 360. And on the 360, this is a pretty rare game, right?
Yep. Yeah, very unusual. As you said there, it was on PS2, and then they just seemingly randomly released a sequel on the 360. It was kind of interesting.
Here's one of my favorite series, Dark Cloud. This is the first one. And the first one, was great at the time, but they did even better in the second one. This one's like, they both have similar concepts of just like rebuilding this city from scratch, and you're going through the dungeon, you're finding the parts, and you're listening to your townspeople and how to build it. But really fantastic games. But if you were going to dive into Dark Cloud, I would actually start with the second one,
which we'll look at next, naturally.
Yep. Dark Cloud 2, probably one of my favorite games of all time. Action RPG, 2 characters that you're able to swap through, fantastic worlds and like cities and enemies and battling. I love this game. There's so much to do in this game. I could probably make an entire video about this game. I love the fishing. There's golfing. You golf in the dungeons. Like, there's so much to do in this game. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in another video. So that's all I'll say. I love this game, and we have it in beautiful condition again, even in a little plastic sleeve, just because we love it so much.
Both Dark Cloud we have in protective sleeves, so that's.
I don't think the first Dark Cloud's that rare, but I think the Dark Cloud 2 might be in the like $35 range, maybe. So.
Do you want to show the Japanese or?
Yeah. I think this is just kind of cool. So I always wanted the Japanese or the UK version or both, because it is my favorite game. And in the UK, or I guess in Europe and in Japan, they actually called it Dark Chronicles. And so only America is it called Dark Cloud. So I always wanted to add it to our collection because I just thought that was really, I love when the games kind of have different names in the different countries and stuff. We have a few other games that we've collected the other alternate variant of it. And this is one of those games that we did when we were in Japan.
It's like Fatal Frame, right? It's Fatal Frame only in the US and Project Zero in Japan and in Europe.
That's right. Here is the very first Devil May Cry.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, you've played some of these. I actually haven't played the Devil May Cry
just
game.
a little bit, yeah. I mean, I think for me, it was just mostly important to find these in good condition, because that was the hardest thing, not finding the greatest hits first and foremost, but I wanted the black label. And yeah, I've always been intrigued by the Devil May Cry games. I can't say that I've played too many of them, but I've tried playing a few of them, and I played the newest one by Ninja Theory. Not the newest one, I should say, but one of the more modern ones. But yeah, I'm really wanting to play these games. I'm not sure where I'll play them, if I'll play them on the PS2 or newer consoles, but I think it's fantastic having the black label in our collection.
And we have the others in the series.
Yes, of course, Devil May Cry 2. And yeah, surprisingly, like I said, some of the what you would consider more of the common ones, it was hard to find them in good shape. And like I said, not the greatest hits. We don't really collect the greatest hits for various reasons. I just like the black labels better.
Yeah.
I love the PlayStation 2 cases. They're incredibly sturdy. And yeah, Devil May Cry 2. I think this is the one that people aren't quite sure about. Like, I guess it wasn't as good, but I think most people like Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. So as we have covered in another video too, they obviously have a collection of these on PS3 and on Xbox 360, and then they re-released it for every other console after that, I think. But yeah, no, this is great. I love having the trilogy in our collection.
Disgaea, Hour of Darkness, another one of my all-time favorite games. So you can kind of see why I like the PS2 so much, because so many of my favorite like series or genres really kicked off on the PS2 for me. right? Strategy RPGs are about to get a serious kick in the ass. Yeah, back then, strategy RPGs were very serious style games. They still are today. And this one tried to like just really turn it on its head and make it, I don't know, more fun or quirky or funny. And it had a story and just colorful characters and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, this is like one of my favorite games, and probably the first game. No, I guess Final Fantasy Tactics would maybe be my first strategy RPG, but this is probably the first one that I just really truly fell in love with that genre of games. Disgaea 2, again, one of my other favorites. I don't know if this one, the story didn't really top Disgaea 1 for me. I still feel like the story of Disgaea 1 was like my favorite, but that could be nostalgia talking. But this was still a, really good, high quality strategy RPG. They kept what was good in the first Disgaea, and then they improved upon the parts that just could use some improving, or just added a little bit more to it. And I feel like that's what they continue to do in their games.
A different publisher on these two?
No. Atlas published the first
right.
one,
Yeah.
and then Nippon Ichi began
Sorry,
publishing for themselves. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
It looks like the text is a little bit blurry here for some reason. It's like someone used a home printer, or...
Hey, I did not print that one.
No, I know it's legitimate, but it looked like, compared to the Atlas one, like the quality of it was a little bit lower, but... No, I just...
Nippon Ichi got better, okay? That was maybe
Good.
like one of their first.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't bother me. I just noticed it, so yeah.
Dynasty Warriors 5 Extreme Legends. Okay, you might ask, where are the other Dynasty Warriors? Okay, well, I know there's a ton of them. Obviously, if there's number 5 on the PS2, and I tell you that the very first Dynasty Warriors came out at launch for the PS2, yeah, there's a fair amount of them on the PS2. And this is even Extreme Legends, meaning this is like Dynasty Warriors 5.1 or 5.5, however you want to look at it. Either way, the reason we have this one is because, like we were saying, I am trying to collect the games that I had in my collection before, and I put in one of my memory cards into the PS2 because I wanted to see what games I had saved on my very old memory card, and this is one of them that I still had my save for. So me and Rumble, we were on the hunt trying to find exactly Dynasty Warriors 5 Extreme Legends, because then I can still boot up my old save and see exactly where I ended in this game. And I'm really curious to see, because we actually added this one recently, I want to see how leveled up were my characters and which ones were my favorite. So this should be really fun to boot this game back up.
Get ready for some Chinese takeout.
Wow.
So apparently PS2 era was very silly, or are we just...
Maybe I like silly games?
Yeah, back when they were having fun with games, I guess. But yeah, This is awesome to see. I love that.
I know, yeah. I'm so glad we found that one because, yeah, like I said, we can find Dynasty Warriors, any number, but finding the Extreme Legends was kind of a challenge. Next, we have Escape from Monkey Island. We got this for you.
Yeah, this is my game, and I'll tell you what, I haven't played it, but I'm a big fan of Monkey Island. I think I played most of the games up until here. I think Telltale made a couple of games. I don't know if this is Telltale. There's still LucasArts, and I will tell you, since we got this one, I never see this one in stores. It's kind of a weird one, isn't it? So I don't think this came out on OG Xbox. This is a PlayStation 2, and most likely PC, of course, but this is kind of a weird one. But I love that we have it, and I don't know if I would like playing it on PlayStation 2. I'm still very much like mouse and keyboard when it comes to these types of games, but I love having it. I think it looks great, and like I said, I don't see this one everywhere.
Well, hold on. I got to point out, you were talking about silly games. Same thing with this. Look, pirates, adventure, and monkeys.
Well, it's Monkey Island.
I know.
Look at them. The monkeys on the...
I don't know. We just have... Our PS2 collection has a lot of silly games.
We need more games like this. I totally agree.
See? Yeah, that's exactly right.
I love the latest Monkey Island. I'm glad they brought it back. So that would have been one of mine. If they hadn't brought that back, that would have been one of my, let's bring this series back.
No kidding. Final Fantasy X, classic. I played the crap out of this game. I got everyone their ultimate weapons, and I'm still not a big fan of this one. I don't know if that makes... I don't know how the rest of the people feel about this Final Fantasy X, but definitely wasn't my favorite, even though I definitely gave it a shot as I played through the entire thing and got everyone their ultimates. But this really showed the new direction that Final Fantasy was going in. Definitely more focused on the graphics, focused on the story-driven kind of movies, cinematics, and everything. So, and I gotta say, I'm more of a Final Fantasy PS1 girl. So, but I'm glad to have this game in our collection. And on the next one, I have something to say about that.
I can tell, though, that they take themselves more seriously here. There was nothing funny on the back. Very serious.
That one's not funny.
Yeah, very serious.
Okay, now this one, Final Fantasy X2. I never played this, probably because of my experience with the first one. I never actually played Final Fantasy X2.
Is it X2 or 10-2? What is the...
I guess that's a great question. I've always said X2, but I guess it could be 10-2. Either way, this
10-4?
This one didn't take itself as seriously. I mean, apparently. And it is...
Which one has that crazy laughter in it? Was that the first one or the 10?
Oh, no, that was 10. Yeah.
Okay. The
last scene.
I'm not going to do it, but I've seen it, yes.
The last scene is cringy.
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it.
So you're like, maybe they didn't take themselves seriously.
It was like a laughing exercise, yeah.
Exactly.
But anyway.
But this one... I want to give this one a shot because some people say that this one they liked over the original, just Final Fantasy X. So I feel like I need to actually play this one so I can say I played it, I tried it, and I can come up with my own opinion on this game. And she saved the world last time, and this time it's personal. That's what that one said.
It always is the second time.
Final Fantasy XI was obviously an online-only MMORPG. We don't have that one in our collection because it would be a frisbee, basically, or just like a collectible. But we do have Final Fantasy XII. This was another one. I did play this one. It just didn't grab me. I felt like it was kind of like a hallway simulator. I felt like I just kept running down hallways, and I didn't feel like I was really in this like open world, or I just wasn't very invested in the world or the characters or the stories. But this one's been remastered or is that remastered? Yeah, it's been more remastered, not remade. So this one's been remastered on newer consoles, and I'd be willing to give this one a shot as well because I've had some people tell me, what are you talking about? Final Fantasy XII was a great game and had a great story. So maybe I didn't give it enough of a shot back then. The Getaway. Now this one, I don't know what to say about this.
I'll be honest, I don't know anything about this game, but it was probably very cheap. We picked it up in some sort of bundle. Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
To me, it looks like Sony's take on a GTA game.
Maybe it is, yeah. But I feel like I have to play this now.
I think we should.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, just reading it a little bit on the back here. But, I mean, this was a very cheap one. I assume it's still a very cheap game, so that's why we picked it up. But I have not gotten around to even looking into this game. But we have The Getaway.
We've got our work cut out for us on the PS2.
Yes, I guess so.
Gran Turismo 4. One of my favorites. I was still playing racing games and Gran Turismo around this time. I even had the steering wheel at this time. So this is, I played this game a lot, really enjoyed it. And we actually got like Gran Turismo on the PS5 recently.
7, I think.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 7. And I'm looking forward to booting up the newest one because it's been a long time since I played a Gran Turismo game.
Oh, really cool. I love this simple, very simplistic artwork.
I know.
Or just a picture, I guess.
All right, Grand Theft Auto 3. I mean, I think here's the thing. We only have this one because we just found it at a great price, complete, really great copy of it. I think it was at
GameStop,
yeah. And it was like cheap, like $6.99. And so we just thought, okay, let's add it to our collection. But we actually have like 2 in Vice City and 4, or sorry, not 2. We have 3 Vice City and 4 on the OG Xbox.
Yeah, San Andreas, yeah. I mean, now that I think of it, we should probably add these to the PS2 as well because they have slightly different artwork or like cover. So I'd be cool with getting the rest of the Grand Theft Auto games because I don't think they are expensive.
No, they usually aren't. It's just, again, hard to find them in good condition.
Yep.
So we just got to keep our eye out for them. Here is Grim Grimoire. This is a Nippon Ichi Software America game again. And this is I loved this game back then. I thought is this one made by Vanillaware on the back? Because the art style looks a lot like, I don't know if we can see, I don't see their title on the back, but some of the art really remind me of like Vanillaware game. But anyway, this is actually one that we found, I don't know, at some retro store for a really great price, and it is sealed. And so that's why it's in this like special plastic case, because I played this game way back in the day. I didn't have it anymore. And then we found it like completely sealed. So that just felt like magic to me, because that means that when I want to play this game again, I get to be the first person to open it. And that's like, yeah, just magical in today's age.
I think it's awesome when you find old games like this sealed, because I didn't even think that was possible up until we found, there was one game store that we used to go to years ago that had surprising amount of sealed PS2 games, and I was like, isn't this like super old? And I was excited if I came across a sealed 360 game, but yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Here is a launch title, Gun Griffin Blaze. I think that this is another one we got in the bank store with the safe. And I just saw this one, and the cover is like that weird holographic looking kind of cover, and it just really stood out to me. And then later I found out it was the launch title on the PS2, and I thought that's really cool. Plus Working Designs I think more famous for their I think of the Lunar games that they made and they worked on. So I just kind of was like, don't they usually make RPGs? And thought this was an interesting game, but it's actually like a mech fighting game. Here we have Harvest Moon, Save the Homeland. And this game is super cute. I just, it was hard. I feel like this is a Harvest Moon game I really wanted to like when it first came out, but it just didn't capture the magic of Harvest Moon 64 or Harvest Moon Back to Nature on the PS1. But I still kept on trying the Harvest Moon games after this point and with this one as well. Katamari Damacy, another one of my all-time favorite series. This is like, I feel like this game has the best soundtrack also. I feel like this is like the best soundtrack in a game. Maybe, I won't say it's the best. Let's just say it's definitely in the top 10 soundtracks of all time for a video game. And such a creative game, such a unique game. Silly game again, also.
Yeah.
Has a very silly premise to it. Just rolling around a giant ball filled with stuff.
Anytime I see cows on the front cover, then it's always a good thing.
Cows and rainbows. And again, very simple art. Like, I love the way this game looks. And here is Killzone. I don't know, this is a first-party game?
Is that what you're trying to say? Killzone? No. This one also, for me at least, or for our game hunting for Killzone, because we had all the new ones, but just not this one. But yeah, I feel like we had to have the whole... was it 4 games in the Killzone series? So,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to play this one. I don't know if this is as good as the newer ones, but you have to start somewhere. But I'm still glad we had the black label. This was the same as some of the other ones. You can find the greatest hits, but surprisingly hard to find that one for some reason.
Next we have Kingdom Hearts. Another classic game. This was a Squaresoft Disney collab on a video game, and at the time that was pretty unique. That was a unique idea, obviously, to have these two team up and to make, it was kind of like a Disney RPG, but then you have those like Final Fantasy style characters playing in these Disney worlds. So really unique game. I really wanted to like this game. I have never been able to get into the Kingdom Hearts game, sadly, and I know that might offend some people. That I know Kingdom Hearts is a beloved series for a lot of people, but yeah, just for some reason, these games, I just can't get into them. I want to. I keep trying. Each one that comes out.
It's a weird mix. I mean, Disney characters and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we have pretty much all the Kingdom Hearts.
Well, might as well just look at the next one too then.
Yeah, we've got Kingdom Hearts 2. Here we go. We tried again. I tried again. And still just wasn't my thing. I also think, I don't know, it's weird to me when they try to make Mickey Mouse kind of badass, basically. I'm not sure how that fits with me, but I know, again, for many people, this is like a really like favorite, beloved series. So I can't say too much. La Pucelle Tactics, another tactics strategy game. This is by Nipponichi team, but it was published by Mastiff. I think this is kind of before they got their whole Atlas and their own publishing studio going. But you can see the enemies on the back are very similar to the Disgaea type games and everything. Some of these enemies are even in the Disgaea game. But this is a really cool strategy RPG. And this one's not too expensive either, actually. So I feel like, I don't know, I haven't looked at it recently, but I feel like you can usually find this game for in the 20s or whatnot. And yeah, it's a really great strategy RPG with an interesting story. I think we featured this one before because we do have the remake of this one on the Switch as well.
I think it was during the PS2 versus OG Xbox video we did.
That's what it was,
Yep.
Yes. Exactly. Ooh, Makai Kingdom. Actually, this is one of my favorites also. So if you were to ask me if I said I love Disgaea, the first one, and Disgaea 2, I said I was kind of like, it's good, but Makai Kingdom, I love this game, and I kind of wish they would have kept making these ones. I would have loved to see a Makai Kingdom 2. I just love the world in this game. And this is another one of those games that I had at one point. I traded it in, and then we added it to our collection because we found this one also sealed at like a really great price at a retro store. So this is our sealed version, and I don't know if I'll have to boot this one up again, or I don't know if I'll have to open this one, because there is the remake that was put out on the Switch again, and they put out a lot of these Nipponichi games with the whole Prinny Presents on the Switch, and we do have all of those, so that I can still play this game, but on the Switch now. Here we have The Mark of Kree. This is a kind of like an action adventure game, I believe. I'm sure I tested this game out, but I haven't played this game in a really long time. But it is like a classic first-party game by Sony Studios, right? Mm-hmm. We have the classic Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. I did play this one. I used to play pretty much all the Metal Gear Solid games from PS1 and PS2, and then for some reason I stopped. I don't know why, but yep, played this one. I don't know. I think this game's kind of crazy and unique. I still have dialogue from this game in my head today. It's like, I need scissors 69 or something like that towards the end of the game. And that was weird. And your like boss is like glitching out and saying that to you. So I'll never forget that.
It's funny. I want to play these games too, but not sure where yet, but I definitely want to play them. And we were actually lucky with these ones. We can go through them one by one here.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2, Substance. We have this one as well.
And yeah, we did get this from one collector that we bought, like a bundle, and I don't know if we would have found these for that deal that we got, so he just kept these well maintained.
Yeah, they're all in beautiful condition. Here's Metal Gear Solid 3, Subsistence.
Which I do think is like an online game. It says online broadband only. So this is kind of an interesting one where I think we only have one disc for this.
Disc 1.
Which I'm not sure if this came as part of a different bundle, or it kind of looks like something's missing here.
Oh yeah, it does look like it's missing that one disc tray that goes in front of it.
Yeah, little flipper thing.
Huh.
Divider. So yeah, I guess we're missing something on this one, but we got that from the same guy. And then, of course, last but not least,
Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, which recently was just remade for newer consoles.
Yep, we just got that one, I think, on Xbox Series X or whatever. And here it says online broadband and dial-up, so get ready for it.
Oh, nice.
Get out your dial-up again. You can play this game.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think this did have some like multiplayer levels that you could do as well, but I only played the single-player missions on this one.
Yeah, I mean, these are all amazing. I would love to play them someday, for sure.
Monster Rancher Evo. This one, I don't know. So here's the thing. I love Monster Rancher, but again, my love for Monster Rancher came from the PS1. And I feel like the games just aren't quite as good on the PS2 as they were on the PS1. And it's really hard to duplicate that nowadays, because on the PS1, the greatness of Monster Rancher was because you put in a like compact disc. You put in a music CD and it would create a monster from that CD that was unique to that CD code or whatever it was reading off of it. Either way, they were amazing games back on the PS1. And I just think there's really no way to redo that again, on modern consoles. I don't know how you could make that magic happen again where you're like going and gathering up CDs from your house and seeing what monster you got out of it. I mean, I don't know. It was an amazing experience, but Monster Rancher 2 on the PS1 is crazy rare and expensive. So now I'm just getting whatever Monster Rancher games I can get, basically, that aren't too expensive. Odin Spear. This is the Atlas Vanillaware game that I was probably thinking of. Or maybe you can kind of see like the art for this one just looks a little bit similar to the Grim Grimoire game. And that's why it made me think of them. But this is a really cool kind of an action adventure game as well. But very artsy style to this game where you're following different people's stories in this game. And I think it's all going up to this, single battle, and you're kind of getting different perspectives of this battle. So neat story, neat gameplay, beautiful art style. And I do think they brought this one like a remaster or maybe a second one finally to like the PS4 or the PS5. I'd like to add that to our collection. I just haven't seen it for a really good price yet. Okage Shadow King. I feel like this was one of the first kind of unique style RPGs that came out on the PS2. I remember playing this game very early in the PS2 life, and I want to say I almost rented this game because I had this memory of this game, and we didn't actually own it for a long time. I don't know if I ever owned this game, but I just had this memory of playing it, and I always wanted it, and I always wanted to add it to our collection, and we finally did, not super recent, but in the last few years, we did find a good copy of this game. It's complete and everything. And I did actually play this game for another video. And yeah, it's just, it's like a Tim Burton style RPG. It's really cool. If you've never played this game and you're like collecting for PS2 and you like RPGs, I do recommend this game. Here we have Persona 3 Fez, or Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 Fez. This was kind of, again, like one of those, I don't know, 1.5 versions of the game, which is funny because this is, this has since come out, the reloaded Persona 3 on newer consoles. And then the Fez basically is the DLC now that has been added to the newer console. But this, one of my favorite games again. So I did discover Persona back on the PS1, and I love Persona 2. It's one of my favorite Persona games. But Persona 3 is another one. I mean, I feel like the Persona games it's hard for me to pick my favorite, especially between 3 and 4. I feel like when I play Persona 3, I think Persona 3 is my favorite. And then when I play Persona 4, I think Persona 4 is my favorite.
One thing I've noticed on the back of these RPGs, they pride themselves on how long they are. So I guess that was a way back in the day to try to sell the game to you.
Maybe it was.
There's 120 hours of gameplay. This one has 70 plus hours. And I'm like, hey, maybe it worked because we didn't really look at reviews online at that time, right? So yeah. It was more or less, this is what you got with your
hard-earned money.
Exactly. So I'm very just not nostalgic about it because I don't have nostalgia for it, but I'm very it takes me back to a time where it was just a little bit simpler and a little bit more fun to discover games.
And nowadays, I feel like games could almost be too long. And games today could be like 300, 400 plus hours.
And people complain that it's too long. So don't give me too long of a game, but then it's too short. Yeah, but anyway.
All right, we got Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4. Like I said, when I play this one, I think this game's my favorite. I love the soundtrack in this game. I love the characters as well. But, again, the Persona series is like my favorite RPG series. Phantom Brave. As soon as I see the cover of this game, I think of the music for this game. So it's really colorful. This is a Nippon Ichi strategy RPG again, And I feel like they kind of did that departure from the darker, well, Disgaea is set in hell, and this game's set on like a tropical island. And so it's just totally different, art style for this game, but still like the classic art, Disgaea style strategy RPG, except this is not grid based. So this is actually like a radius style strategy RPG. So this had a different battle system to get used to, although still familiar. Radiata Stories. Okay, here's another RPG that I'm surprised that they didn't bring a Radiata Stories to. I thought this was a beautiful game. I think it had a beautiful story. Had a really great kind of plot twist on this game, and really just played well. And again, the music in this game is gorgeous. Really, gorgeous soundtrack for this game. So this is one I would love to go back to, or I wish they would remaster this one. I would totally replay this one. Resident Evil 4. Classic game.
Happy to announce that this was the last Resident Evil 4 we needed for our collection. Give or take, like I always say, maybe there's a weird variant that we don't have or some whatever, but this was officially the last one. Now we have all of the mainstream, at least, the main releases for Resident Evil 4. And also, don't forget to buy it on the PS5.
Rise of the Kasai. I believe this is the sequel to Mark of Kree. So Mark of Kree did pretty well, and they got a sequel for this one with Rise of the Kasai. I don't know if it added co-op or just 2 characters that you got to play as. I don't remember. One of my favorites. Here we go. Robot Alchemic Drive, or RAD. I was surprised to know that this game has gone up so much in price and has become so rare, because I don't know who else knows about this game. Did any of you know about this game back when the PS2 was out? Who's buying this game now?
Back when Enix was just without the Square.
Yeah, it was before Enix and Square came together. Just Enix on this game. But this is a really bizarre mech beat-em-up game. Oh boy, I want to do a playthrough on this game, and I want to show you all how crazy the game controls are for this one, as well as the voice acting. This has some of my favorite / worst voice acting you will ever hear, and it just makes the game that much more awesome. Rogue Galaxy. This is a cel-shaded style RPG, and I feel like this one I always expect to be more rare in the stores or be more expensive, but I don't know, I usually can find this one for a reasonable price, and I really like this game. I think this is a really solid RPG. I feel like they're kind of capitalizing off the whole Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast and trying to do their own spin on it, but either way, this is a really solid RPG that is, I think, really fun to play. And I used to have this pirate flag from it too. It was a pre-order item. I don't know where it went though. I need to find my old Rogue Galaxy pirate flag. It's somewhere. RPG Maker 2. I think that these were just these games are still going today. I think now I don't know what number they're up to, but I know it's MKV or something like that. And I think we own it on the Switch as well. But I don't know. I think these are really neat games that have inspired many different game designers to start making their games on an RPG Maker engine. And then maybe they later, I know Omori was made on RPG Maker, and then they later had to transfer it into a different, gaming engine. But still, this was a way that if you were feeling like making games, but you just didn't have that experience with coding, this tried to make it easier for you so that you could actually put your ideas into visual format that felt, I'm not going to say it's easy. There are complex menus in these games, but still, it's doable. You can do it. And so, I don't know. I wanted this in our collection because it's really cool.
Totally agree with that.
Shadow Hearts from the New World. Again, another favorite series of mine that's on the PS2 and stuck on the PS2. I would love, love, love to see these games get remade, remastered, something with the Shadow Heart game. Shadow Hearts 1 is extremely rare. That's one of those few games that I actually might buy that at the $100 price tag if I really have to, because it's one of my all-time favorite games. But it better be in like excellent condition. Better be mint condition if I'm going to be paying top dollar for that. But we at least have Shadow Hearts from the New World, and we still need to add Shadow Hearts Covenant and the first Shadow Hearts.
So that's technically the end of shelf number 1. So I'm just going to pull them up and then put them in front of the camera, I guess, and then we can talk about them, and then they fall over.
They're going to keep falling over. That's why we're doing it this way. Okay, we have Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. This is another one I'm kind of surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually remake these ones on newer consoles, because these are really cool stories, bizarre stories. And as I've said, I love the Persona series, but this one brought something really new to that whole Shin Megami Tensei universe.
This was around that time where that game store had all of these sealed. I remember that.
Yeah, that's right.
It was really strange. I was very surprised by that. A good price, too. It wasn't it was a cost a fortune.
Nope. I think both of these were like under $30 or right at the $30 mark with them being sealed. So we got Digital Devil Saga 2. And one of the cool things about these two games is if you beat the first one, it recognized that on your memory card, and you got some like special new gear, or I think a special ring, when you went to play the second Digital Devil Saga. We got those Shin Megami Tensei games. They're still going. We got Nocturne. Now, this one has been remade and has been put out on new consoles. I think this is a really beloved game, and for a good reason. It has a really awesome dark world. It's got a great main character. I think the enemies in this game really shine, even though they are a lot of the same enemies that you see throughout the SMT game. For some reason, the enemies in this one just really they stand out to me more. I remember them more. I remember my conversations with the enemies more in this game. So, yeah, Nocturne's a classic game.
Well, speaking of classic games...
Oh, I bet you guys didn't see this one coming. SingStar's 80s. Or no, just SingStar. Not SingStars. Just SingStar.
There's only one SingStar.
There's only one. There can only be one in the 80s, all right? This is in our collection because... I don't know what PAX that was, but one of the PAXs, Penny Arcade Expos, a very, very long time ago, I was working with Sony, and I was the person that was doing the booth for SingStar 80. And it was really funny. I didn't own this game until more recently because I actually hated all the songs on this game for a while. I had to hear all of these songs so many times over.
We have them on the back here.
Yeah. I had to hear these songs over and over and over again from all day long. Well, people came up and they sang karaoke. I was surprised how many people were brave enough to sing karaoke in front of a huge crowd at Penny Arcade Expo. And but they did. And I was, very, very tired of hearing all of these songs.
Let me guess. You were very tired of Uptown Girl, most likely.
Ooh, Uptown Girl. That one was the one that people love singing, for sure. And also, I think Time After Time. Why?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Why? I don't know why. But yeah, so this one, after, I got all the trauma out of my system from the...
PTSD after Billy Joel and Cyndi Lauper.
Exactly. Then I was able to say, you know what? We need this in our collection as a memory.
That's a great memory. And now that we've confirmed you were the original PlayStation girl.
I guess this is true.
You were actually there.
All right. Next we have Siren. This is a pretty rare horror game for the PS2. We were definitely targeting this one, hunting for this one for a good price and complete as well.
Okay, in good condition as always. And it's called Forbidden Siren, I think, in Europe. And I remember we went to, it's not a game store that we go to very often, but I remember the choice we had on the day, and you'd be surprised that I picked Siren that day. They were about the same price, but they had Silent Hill 2, I think, on OG Xbox. But instead, we picked this one because we want to add this one. We wanted to have it. And because it looks like a very interesting horror game to me. But it was in 10 times better shape than the Silent Hill 2. So we're like, yep, let's get this one. And Siren is one series that I've been wanting to get into. And I know there's some on PS3 and there's maybe another one on PS2, I believe. But this one looks really cool.
I agree. I look forward to watching you play them because I'm not that great at the horror games. I just want to hide in a room. Soul Calibur 3, classic fighting game.
I think it was around the time where we wanted to try to get all of the Soul Calibur games, and I think there were some different variants, and then it's always intrigued me how they've had different characters. I don't think this one has anything special in it, but we are still looking for like even the OG Xbox stuff, and then this one is missing the manual, I think, because it's very light. But that's one of those things, we every time we go to a game store, we try to look for this manual, but we just can't find it. So
I know.
we might be better off just buying a new copy and then trading this one in. But
That's very true.
But yeah, no, I like the Soul Calibur games. They're pretty good.
SSX Tricky. My favorite snowboarding game, at least.
So much that we also have these on the OG Xbox, I think.
We have them both. That's just, I mean, I think it's because my memories are on the PS2 playing it. But then when we really wanted to build our OG Xbox collection, we felt like we needed them. We felt like we needed them there too. But yeah, SSX games, they hold a special place in my heart. But I probably put in the most hours into SSX 3. This game, I just remember playing this game day after day for hours upon hours, building up my character's wardrobe by doing awesome on the slopes. I don't know. It makes no sense to me now when I say it, but it really grabbed me at the time. And I just thought the graphics on this were amazing at the time. Like the snow coming down the mountains and everything was just like so immersive for me that I loved this game. Star Ocean, Till the End of Time. Star Ocean is another one of those game series that I started on the PS1 and absolutely loved it there, but I just wasn't as sure how I felt about it on the PS2 and the newer console. But I keep trying them because of the fact that the Star Ocean on the PS1 was just so good. Matter of fact, they recently brought Star Ocean, what is it, like Story R. Now I can't remember exactly the name of it. But anyways, they remade the the PS1 classic Star Ocean for modern console, and that is on my play next list. I really need to play that one. But I'm really happy anytime we have the Star Ocean games in our collection. They're just great memories for me.
It made things complicated now.
Here we have a nice controversial game for you. State of Emergency, Rockstar game. Warning, check ID sticker is on this one.
And didn't you say that it was once upon a time that if they sold this at GameStop, you had to check, you actually had to check ID?
Oh yeah, for sure. This game is pretty controversial when it came out. I want to say it was kind of around that time when people were saying on the news sources about how games were causing violence or causing, teenagers to commit violence and whatnot. And so it was getting a lot of heat with some of these games that were coming out at that time. So I believe they had to slap that sticker on them saying, warning, check ID. And GameStop employees actually had training that they had to do for requesting the ID. We had to absolutely make sure that we asked anybody who looked like, it was kind of like alcohol. Like if they look like they're under the age of 30, card them, check ID before they buy State of Emergency, Grand Theft Auto game. I think like the Warriors even, like those types of games, Manhunt, whatnot.
Definitely Manhunt, yeah.
Definitely Manhunt. So yeah, pretty interesting. So I think that's why we really wanted to have this one in our collection too, at least for me, because I just remember it, again, it reminds me of a time, right, where that was happening.
Nostalgia.
Mm-hmm. Hey, one of my probably best referenced, if you ask me, what's one of the weirdest games that you have in your collection? Stretch Panic. Another game that I definitely want to do some gameplay for this one and show you all because I think this is one of the most unique games out there. It's nothing like what you're going to expect this game to be. Also, I think it had some pretty interesting developer, publishers. This is like Treasure, and you might know Treasure from like Ikaruga and some cave shooters. And they also made this game, this weird oh my gosh, your scarf is grabbing stuff. I really don't know how to even explain this game. This is definitely a gameplay only type of game. You just can't explain it.
It says there is stretchticity technology.
Yes,
they
exactly.
They coined it, or they trademarked it.
They trademarked it. I see reach out and stretch someone. That actually does explain the game. So there you go. Reach out and stretch someone.
And you play as Linda, so...
Why'd they give her such a boring name for like such a weird game?
No idea.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, this is one of the weirdest games we have in our collection. Super Bust-A-Move 2. I think this cover is so colorful that I wanted to have it in our collection. I do have memories of playing the Super Bust-A-Move game, but really what I most love about these games is like the Bubble Bobble characters. So I think I was always secretly hoping that these games would resemble in some way the Bubble Bobble games back on the NES, because I love those games. But this is like a totally different style of game. It's more just like a puzzle game, if anything. But still, they're fun games to play. Here we have the original Taiko Drum Master. I remember playing this game for hours and love the Taiko Drum Master game. I'm so glad that this series has continued throughout the, up until today. They're still making new Taiko Drum Master games. I love that you can find this in so many arcades. You can play these games in almost any arcade that you go to. And I love the characters in this one. I love the art style. The music's always fun too. You're going to usually get some weird anime, music in this one. I know this one has a crazy Dragon Ball song. It's like Rock the Dragon or something like that. That song cracks me up, but it's really fun to play.
Well, let's show the cool, what do you call the special edition, or just like with the drums?
That was actually just how it came back then. Yeah, we have the entire complete box with the drum and the Taiko drumsticks all in it. I don't know that you could buy the game any other way because you had to play the drum with it, but I could be wrong about that.
And this is a great one to play in the arcades too. Really fun, for sure. But yeah, I'm glad we have this really unique, and this one has become really hard to find, I will say. Like, we've seen that at game stores, and that one is kind of a rarity now, a very unique one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the price for this like complete drum set has gone up so much that I wasn't expecting it, really. Like, it was one of those things we just kind of had in our collection, and then now you see it, if you can find it complete, I think it is over $100 usually to buy the complete Taiko Drum Master kit. So I'm glad that we still have this from way back in the day. Virtua Fighter 4. This was probably my favorite fighting game of the time, and probably the fighting game that I put the most hours into. I was really building up my Pai-chan in this game, so she was my girl. Made sure that I mastered her. She got like all the different dons and everything, and got her all her little outfits and stuff. So this is another game that's on my memory card, and I need to boot this one up with my memory card and see just how decked out my Pai-chan is. We love Katamari. We heart Katamari. However you want to say it, this was the sequel to Katamari Damacy, and just continued the greatness, I think, of the series. I don't know that the soundtrack lives up to the first one, but that's really hard to duplicate. It's hard to capture that magic again in another game. But still, the gameplay in this one, totally. I think they did do a better job with the gameplay and the graphics and stuff. So I love this one as well. Xenosaga Episode 1. Do I dare try to do the German here, like Der Wille zur Macht?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Okay, so this is another classic RPG on the PS2 that I'm sure many people would love to see this one get remade, remastered, especially because these have gone up in price a lot. Now, Xenosaga, this first one, we were lucky enough to find this for a pretty reasonable price, and that's why we picked it up. I wasn't actually planning to collect all the Xenosaga games, but I think that since we found this one at such a reasonable price, and it's complete and looked great, we were like, okay, let's start here. Xenosaga Episode 2. So this was a recent edition. Again, we happened to run into this at another game store, And it was, again, a really reasonable price. And so I was just like, Rumble, we got to add this to our collection because now we have Xenosaga 1 and 2. So, these were ones I didn't know we would ever get to add back into our collection, but these are really cool space RPGs, have really, intriguing stories and like plot twists and kind of like going back to almost those like artsy Space Odyssey style movies where, just got some really interesting story elements going on in this one. And that's also Namco before Bandai Namco.
Yep.
I just noticed that.
The last game here.
Last game, Z for Zone of the Enders. So this one also, we were happy to find this one with the demo for Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty inside of it. So that's pretty cool to have that like demo disc in there too. This is like a Hideo Kojima produced game. And does have that, Metal Gear Solid art style to it as well, but it is a mech game, so it's very different. But I feel like this is a game that a lot of people do love and have great memories of. And did they ever remake this one? I'm trying to remember. I feel like
just like an HD port that we've covered in our one of the recent 360 videos in the Zone of the Enders HD collection, but don't think they've remade these games. And yeah.
Okay, well, see, this is another one. I don't know. When you see all these classics on PS2, that's what it really makes me think of. I don't know. I don't mind all these remakes. I'm like, bring them out again. I want to play them again, like it's like a brand new experience. So there's another classic that we have in our collection.
Okay, that was our entire PS2 collection. But at the end here, we want to go through our seemingly ongoing wish list and see what else we would like to add to our collection and why we want to add them to the collection.
All right, so we do have several games that we want to add to our PS2 library still. And we only do have a shelf and a half, so we have some room for these. And also at the very end, I will say some of these are like total wishful thinking, like we hope we can find these games one day for a reasonable price. But first game on our list is Bully.
I want to add Bully because I have it on the 360 and this is the original one, and the Bully Scholarship didn't come out on PS3, so that's why I want to add that one to the PS2 collection.
I want to add Dokapon Kingdom because this was a game that I did play way back in the day. I think it's a really unique board game style party game, and I did get the remaster of this one on the Switch, but I want to have the original again. I also want to have Draken. This was a weird game that I just don't feel like I see anybody talk about or really mention, but this game was I have really good memories of this game. It's just a woman who's riding on this dragon, and I don't know, I just have a lot of really great memories of the game Draken, and I want to relive those memories again. Of course, we want to have Fatal Frame 1 through 3.
I want to collect all of the popular horror games on the PS2, as far as we can get them at least, and Fatal Frame is really a must.
And also, we want to make sure we add God of War 1 and 2.
I don't know why it's so difficult to find these in good condition and in good price. I feel like these are a little bit too expensive right now, but we still need to add, the original God of War games on the PS2.
I want to add Eco to our collection. I don't know how we don't even have Eco. I feel like it's a game, well, obviously I had it at one point and I love it, but it's been like, again, one of those games been hard to find at a decent price and good condition, but definitely one we need to have in our collection. We are looking for Magna Carta, the first one, because we have the second one on the Xbox 360.
Same as Coldcept, really. It's the same kind of unique PS2 release, and then they had a 360 sequel. So yeah, I think that for those reasons, we want to have that one.
Mr. Mosquito. That is another one of those crazy, unique games that came out for the PS2 where you play as a mosquito and you're trying to target specific body parts of the patrons at like a campsite, basically, and bite them. So it's just one of those really weird games, but I have a hard time finding this one in stores, although it's supposed to not be that expensive. Monster Rancher 3, as I said earlier, we have Monster Rancher Evo, and I'm just trying to collect the Monster Rancher games that aren't too expensive. So I want to have Monster Rancher 3 in our collection. Shadow Hearts 1 and 2. Shadow Hearts 1 is, just one of my favorite games of all time. And it's one of the few games I can say that I would be willing to pay the higher price for just to get in our collection if we can find it for under $100 and it's in like perfect condition, mint condition. I would be willing to pay that because it's one of my all-time favorite RPGs. Shadow of the Colossus, like Eco, love to have this game back in our collection. This is a classic game for sure. And, we just look for it for the right price and in good condition. SSX Original. I don't know why I haven't really seen this one in stores. I found out this was a launch title, and it's funny how I have the memories of SSX Tricky and 3, but I don't actually remember playing the very first SSX, so it's one that I would love to have in our collection. Virtua Fighter 4 Evo. Now, we do have Virtua Fighter 4, but Evo is like the more like definitive version of it, and I do think that's the one that I was playing towards the end. So I find, if we can find that one at a good price, I'd love to add that to the collection. Xenosaga 3 for obvious reasons. I mean, we now have Xenosaga 1 and 2, so now we need to get 3. But I hear 3 is pretty rare and also expensive, so we might have to see if that one can come down a little bit. Zone of the Enders 2, again, obvious reasons. We have the first one, so now we are on the lookout for the second one.
Which we saw recently, but we weren't happy with the price, so we'll keep looking.
Yep, exactly. I think we can find that one for a decent price. All right, we have our wishful thinking list now.
Can I say the wishful thinking?
Yes.
Because I've only seen these. I know nothing about these games, but I've seen them. And I'll probably put them up on the screen at some point, which is exciting. We've seen them, obviously, in the game stores. First one is Rule of Rose.
Everyone wants to have this game in their collection. I mean, it's extremely rare. I do remember playing it way back in the day. It's kind of weird to me. I don't remember loving it as much as other people did, I guess. But very rare game to have in your collection.
And then Steambot Chronicles. We just saw that one, actually. And that one's expensive, I think.
Oh, it was like way too expensive. It was like over $150. But I really would love to have that game in our collection, too. I did play that one back in the day, too.
And obviously, Kuon. Wishful thinking, like we said. Most likely never going to happen. But why not just put it on here?
Absolutely. It's our wishful thinking list.
Haunting Grounds. Another one similar to Kuon. But they're supposed to be pretty decent horror games, right? So they kind of belong here, but again, wishful thinking. And then lastly, Tulip.
Another one of those super bizarre, weird games where you're going around trying to kiss people in the city. And I just found out, so I was looking for it, and then I was like, why don't I ever see this game? Well, yeah, it's crazy expensive. It's another one of those games like over $150. Thankfully, it is in the PS3 marketplace. So that might be the only way I can play that game. Well, that's it for our PS2 collection. Thank you so much for going on this fun PS2 nostalgia memory dive with us. I mean, I love our PS2 collection, and I just love the PS2, and I enjoy talking about my memories that I have with this collection, because this is just really where gaming really kicked off for me and my gaming memories. So it's like such a joy to go through all these games again. And now to get Rumble to play some PS2 game. If you guys have any recommendations that you think Rumble should start with, if he was going back to play on the PS2, what games should he start with first? I mean, I have some ideas, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say.
And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Bye!